There we go, Apple CarPlay. I know this is what a lot of people want. You can see it looks real sleek right there, and then if you're in CarPlay and you go in reverse, your camera still works. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Acura Auto Garage. Today we're working on a 2014 Acura TL. It's going to be the same from 09 to 14. This is a base model. This one's really clean. We're going to be upgrading the radio. As you can see, I have all my covers already set up, but this radio right here is coming out, and we're putting in this big nice Pioneer screen, doing a flush mount USB, doing Sirius XM. We're going to do a backup camera. Here's the dash kit, and then of course the steering wheel control adapter and our harnesses. So normally if you buy this from anywhere else, they'll send you these two and your antenna, so you'll get AM FM reception, your radio will turn on, but your rear speakers won't work. So that was solved. We now have the harness. This has your rear speaker, your center speaker, and your sub. So you're able to keep all your speakers except that center channel right here. Your radio's not gonna have a center channel output, but you'll get to keep all the other speakers. Very simple installation. I'm gonna show it to you. This isn't a DIY. I'm just gonna show you the highlights of installing the radio, the highlights of doing the backup camera, and the flush mount. The way this is gonna go is we're gonna have to take this trim piece off and this trim piece off. That'll expose our screws, and then we can get this thing out of here. So if you watch the other video, this is the part that's different between your navigation and non-navigation models, and these are the vents. So right here, the way they slide into the screen is different. So these has these two outer ones, the other ones are closer together. So if you're wondering, these are the vents for a non-navigation. And now we got those vents off, we got this off. We have 4 screws we have to deal with. One here, one up there, and one right there. And those 4 screws are what's holding our radio. When you take these trim pieces off, they're pretty simple. You just unclip them. You just got to be careful. You don't want to damage anything. 8mm, 8mm. These I recommend you break with an 8mm, and then you take the screwdriver that either we sell in our kit or one that you have like it that's good, that has a magnetic tip. And the reason why is because this is really easy to drop this screw and then be mad at yourself that you dropped it. So this screwdriver has a magnetic tip, and you can see it came out real nice, and I didn't have to worry about dropping it. It also fits in the grooves real well. So if you need this stuff right here, we sell it. If you don't need it, you want to get it yourself a nice screwdriver with a nice tip. So now my radio is ready to come out. You want to make sure you protect this when you pull the radio out, and we're going to have about 5 or 6 different connectors we need to deal with. Before we can get to the rear for the connections, we need to get rid of these tabs on either side. So right here, well, hard to see, right here. You need to just get a clip removal tool, get underneath and unclip it, and that's gonna free this and allow you to pull the radio out further. So our radio is out. Sorry I didn't get to show you in real time, but all these have push tabs. So you push with your thumb right here and you pull back out. The tricky is this one. It has this little white tab that you need to push down on and then bring this back. So you see how it won't go back into place? This was here before. You have to push down and swing it open. Everything else is just a little push tab. When you're going to replace the radio, you're going to use these 2 connectors right here and your antenna. These other 2 are for the HFL and the factory Sirius XM. They're not retained. You don't use these 2 for anything when you replace the radio. It is just these 3 right here. So on our radio, we need to transfer this and this. They're just held on by screws back here. So 1, 2, and 3 at the bottom, and we need to put them onto our new dash kit. Guys, so our dash kit is ready. We mounted our pocket, the brackets, and our climate control. I recommend you go brackets to your radio, pocket, then the climate control, but this is ready to go. Now we got to take care of our wiring inside the car. Let me show that to you real quick. So our wiring harnesses, here they are. Remember, you can find these on our website. No one else is going to have this harness, so unless you want to wiretap, you just want to check us out so you can grab these harnesses. And then I'm going to get started on the camera. The camera I'm not going to show you much, just the highlights, so I'm going to jump on that now. Our backup camera is mounted, and that wire doesn't look the best, but I hate when wires show on backup cameras, but that's the best we're going to do. From up here you can't even see it, but it's ran through the factory boot. So right through here. Now we're coming up this way. Now we got to tap our reverse light. All right, so we're getting ready to wire our backup camera. We're going to grab our ground from right here. Oh, you can't see. Let me get that light. So there's a ground right there, factory grounding point, right where my finger is. And then our reverse wire is this brown wire right here with the zip tie on it. So that's going to be reverse. In order to get this off, you are going to need an envelope cutter, believe it or not, something like this to help you slide all the tape off. At the end, it's electrical tape, so we can replace it, it's no problem. But we're gonna do our wire tapping right here, nice and clean, zip tie, retape everything back up, ground our camera down there, and then start running our wire. All right, YouTube, our camera's in. You can see our wire is back, grounded right here, brown wire right here. It's ran up that way. Unbolt this right here to give you a little bit more leverage. Seat has clips that you have to massage. So right here, you massage these clips. I know it's hard to see because of the light, but there's a clip there. This is all just clips. It's gonna pop off. You're gonna do this trim piece, then that back trim piece, then this middle trim piece, and now you can see my wires right here. I'm gonna pop this off so I can do my microphone, and I'll continue. But I'm going to put everything else back together where it belongs. So we got this panel out. We're ready to put it back in. We have to fix this clip. In order to get this panel out, you have to hit it really hard, like slam it. This will collapse, and then these clips aren't supposed to be reusable, but we are going to be reusing this one. So I'm just going to pop it off, and then I'm going to fix it on the bench. I'm just going to put these green thingies back to where they belong, and then we'll snap this back in place. Don't forget to connect your tweeter when you go to put this back. But our mic's up here now. Ran behind this and down, zip tied in place. So this is probably what you're going to have the most questions about, the wiring. So on our Pioneer harness, we're not using any of the speaker wires out. This is high level. We need to go low level to our factory amp. Your Base Acura TL still has an amp that powers all the speakers. So that's why we have these RCAs. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It covers every single speaker. Front left, front right, rear left, rear right, sub, and center. The only one that's not going to get hooked up is our center, because we don't have a center out in our Pioneer radio. Our Pioneer radio has front left, front right, rear left, rear right, and then sub 1 and 2. So I'm gonna unpin that. Then since this has one blue, we need 2 blues to 1. So you have a blue for your antenna right here, and then you have a blue white on this harness. Both go to blue white here. We're also doing a parking bypass, so this blue is going to go here, so it's going to be 3 blues to 1. Then we have black, yellow, orange. They're all getting color matched. And then there's a gray and a gray black. Gray black is going to go to ground. Gray is going to go to our steering wheel controller, and this has red and black as well. So once all the wiring's done, I'll show it to you, but that's the gist of what I'm about to do. All right, guys, so my wiring is done. This has a black white that doesn't get hooked up to anything, and then the RCAs are the ones you choose to use. But then everything else is here. We color matched orange, color matched red. The only thing that I think would trip you up is the gray black goes to black, and then the gray goes to gray red, and that's for your steering wheel controls. That's this harness right here. That's gonna go to this little black box. And then everything else is self-explanatory. Like I said, all those blues go together, so 2 on this side, 2 on this side, and then my parking brake bypass, and everything else is color matching. So the wiring on this is pretty simple. It's just depending on which radio you're going to install, which wires you're going to have to hook up. We're not going to hook up VSS, and then for the reverse camera, it's going to hook up to this purple white right here. So our wiring harness is completely done. Now we got to plug in our RCAs, and then all the other connections we got to make in the car. What's left in the box is this USB, but we did a flush mount USB right here. So our USB is going to come from there. So now I'm just going to hook up all my RCAs, match them to these RCAs, plug this into the back of my radio, and mount my screen. All right, guys, here it is. So my steering wheel controls work. We added the backup camera. Our display up here still works, so I can adjust the temperature, no problem. Let me just change the temperature real quick. So there you go. This still works. Our microphone is up here. Our USB mount, you can see, isn't here, isn't in here. It's on this back side over here. So then I'm going to show you CarPlay real quick. I'm going to hook up this iPhone. Go home. I'm gonna hit allow on the iPhone, and now you'll see in a second, there we go, Apple CarPlay. I know this is what a lot of people want. You can see it looks real sleek right there. And then if you're in CarPlay and you go in reverse, your camera still works. Steering wheel controls, of course, still work in Apple CarPlay. So now I'm just going to go to Pandora, and now we'll go Kanye West Radio, and I can control volume right from here. I can change the song right from here. So see, song changed. This actually looks really nice. I'm not a huge fan of the big screens, but in this I think it makes a lot of sense. It sits right in front of the vents, so if you use these vents, it's not the best idea. But if like you don't really use those vents, I mean, you can adjust this up and down so it could sit more in the center and then kind of in the way of these. But I mean, that looks pretty good. Look at that. And of course, all my speakers are working. So that speaker works, my sub works, this speaker back here works, this tweeter works, this door speaker works. The only speaker that doesn't work is this center speaker, and I told you that in the beginning. So if you're thinking about doing this to your Acura, guys, I highly recommend it. All the things are available. You saw the wiring is not too complicated. You're just plugging in those 5 RCAs and then hooking up the rest of the wires if you want to keep your steering wheel control. I also showed you how to do that. So the only thing that might trip you up is the backup camera, but I showed you which wires to tap. So if you made it through the whole video and you watched this entire thing, I thank you. Make sure you give the video a like, subscribe, and share with someone who has an Acura TL. This is a 2014, but this will work from 2009 to 2014. So if you have a base TL, you're thinking about upgrading it, I say definitely do it. It's gonna look really good. You're gonna be happy with your new radio. You're gonna modernize the car. You don't have to worry about choppy Bluetooth audio or bad HFL calling. Your new radio is gonna take care of all that. And then your microphone for your phone calls is right there. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching.